Hey, Gordon-Conwell family. My name is Pete Stone, and I graduated with a Master's of Divinity from Gordon-Conwell in 2004. I was there from 2001 through 2003 and did distance learning and actually graduated in 2004 with my Master's of Divinity. Wanted to share just briefly how I became an Army chaplain. I grew up in the church. My father was a pastor for 40 years. And I remember as I was going through seminary, I really had a passion to teach and to preach and to handle the word rightly. But I never really felt a deep calling to actually be the pastor of a church. I saw what my dad did growing up, and there are aspects of pastoral ministry that I loved and was drawn to and was called to, but didn't really feel like it was the time for me to be a pastor. So when I graduated, I eventually moved in. I did some missions work, and then moved into nonprofit work. And it was during that time when I met actually an airman in the Air Force, and he said, "You know, Pete, you would really enjoy being a chaplain." And I never even knew anything about military chaplaincy, and so I looked into it and was actually steered toward the Army. And the more I learned about the Army chaplaincy, the more it seemed too good to be true. It was everything I loved about pastoral ministry and everything I knew I was being called to, but it was within a context that was very unique and very similar. I did a lot of missions in my background. It's very similar to a missionary calling. It is a missionary calling. And if you think of Ralph Winter's degrees of cross-cultural context, it's a different way of talking, a different way of dressing, different kind of vernacular, all kinds of different things. And so I could hardly believe that there was something such as the Army Chaplain Corps. When I learned more about it, I said, where do I sign up? And my wife and I never looked back. It's been an amazing experience being an Army chaplain. Some of the particular joys and challenges of being an Army chaplain. One of the obvious joys is, as a missionary, I get to be where my people are all the time. And I've been with my people in some of the most diverse places on the planet and some of the most unique and demanding experiences and contexts. Jumping out of airplanes, going through dunker school where you're learning to survive underwater, jungle school, seer school, going through those experiences with people. And as you're sharing that common suffering with other soldiers, using that as an opportunity, because everyone always asks, oh, so you're a chaplain, what about X, Y, or Z? Or I've heard X, Y, or Z. And it's incredible opportunities to share my faith with soldiers in those contexts, being in combat environments. So the joy of just always being around the people that you're called to serve, always around them, on their turf. It's incredible. I remember my dad telling me when he was a pastor, he said one of the things that most challenged him was finding time to get outside the church walls and be where people were that needed to be inside the walls of the church. And that's exactly what I do as an Army chaplain. I'm with people that God has called me to serve all the time. So that's a unique joy. One of the unique challenges is operating in a pluralistic context. It requires tremendous professional discernment and pastoral discernment. On one side, to know what the left and right boundaries are to operate within the bounds of the First Amendment. And on the other side, pastoral integrity to ensure that I'm faithful to live out my calling, to do what God sent me to the Army to do, which is teach people about the good news of what Jesus has done for us through his life, death, and resurrection. And those are the boundaries, knowing how to present my religion in a way that's winsome and that's attractive to people without imposing it on people, and doing it in such a way that the First Amendment has provided for that free expression or no establishment thereof. So that's one of the unique challenges, but I'd also say that's one of the unique benefits, is that I get to do that in the Army. And so the extent to which I'm able to steward that is the extent to which I'm able to extend my influence. So that's one of the unique joys and challenges. One of the greatest impacts that Gordon-Conwell had on me, I would say, is the power of friendship. Some of the friendships I developed there were deeply forming in my life. And I would also say the rigorous academic demands of Gordon-Conwell. I'm no scholar, but I wanted to be challenged, and Gordon-Conwell challenged me. Gary Pratico, if any of you remember him, Bill Mounts, he's some Greek scholar that wrote some books. Incredible professors, and I know whoever is there now is, I'm sure, amazing. Dr. Wells. So there's just a rich tradition of rigorous academic work, and I was challenged, and I came away from that experience much better. And then my mentored ministry time, I served down at a Hispanic church in Boston, and my time serving in a local church as a mentee was really powerful. And so I think the greatest impact Gordon-Conwell has had on me has been the beauty and the joy and the privilege of being a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ and understanding the glorious reality of what the gospel is and what it implies for those who are called to share it with those to whom God has called us. So that is my biggest takeaway from Gordon-Conwell, is just the joy of the gospel and being more fully equipped to teach and preach it and live it out in my life. So I hope that's an encouragement to anyone who's interested in the Army chaplaincy. Please call me if you like a challenge and you have a missionary heart and you love to share the love of Christ with people who need to hear about it. Then the Army chaplaincy is an incredible ministry. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if I can help encourage you along those lines. God bless you all, and hope to see you sometime here, there, or in the air.